So today I want to talk about non-attachment a little bit and surrender and flow. And I want to come at this from the perspective of importance and meaning, which is the reason we have suffering to begin with when we think of losing the things that we're attached to. So I think it's really, if you're anything like me and you've heard, oh, you just got to let go, you've just got to surrender. Um, Got to practice non-attachment, it feels very scary. And why is it so hard to do? Why is something that is so seemingly easy, or so simple rather, not so easy to do? Just let go. Well, it's because of the story that we've attached to the thing we're attached to. And another way to look at that is the level of importance that we're placing on that desire. So a good way to think of it is to imagine a plank that is lying on the ground. Let's say it's about a foot wide. And you say, I need you to walk on this plank from this, beginning of the room to the end of the room. You're like, sure, it's on the ground. Like there's no serious consequences if your foot, drifts off the plank. But if you were to take the same plank and put that between two high-rise buildings, the fear and the anxiety would probably most likely creep up in your body, and you'd feel this level of importance, because the truth is if you take one wrong step, you're going to fall to your untimely death, right? And that's a pretty warranted concern, but nonetheless, nothing changed. Like if you were able to walk on that plank when it was on the floor without falling off, why all of a sudden would you not be able to do it if you were elevated between two high-rise buildings? What would be stopping you? It would be the energy, it would be the story, it would be your mind, it would be how you think about it that wouldn't allow you to do it. And that would be because of the level of importance that you placed on it because of how high the stakes are. Now, in this case, it's pretty understandable. Nobody wants, especially if you're afraid of heights. There's so many reasons why I can understand it from that perspective. But there's so many things in our life that we place excessive importance on that aren't actually that big of a deal. Things that if you told your ego mind, you know what, I'll be okay either way, the ego mind would latch on and go, no, because there's a story attached to it. A good example of this is I remember I went to my first energy healing session. I think it was like 16 years ago or something. And I was telling the energy healer about my dreams and my aspirations. It was part of how she was onboarding me into the session. And I was in a very different place then. And I did have some pretty big goals, including, wanting to be very successful with my music and wanting to make a lot of money. I may have even used the word millionaire or make millions, but even when I said it, it was like, yeah, I made it so important. And it was like, no, I've got to have this dream. And if I don't have it, then, I don't even know what I do with myself, but like once I get this, I'm gonna be so happy. And I don't remember exactly what my words were, but I know that my energy was desperate. I can tell you that much. I remember how desperate I was. And I think about, how many goals I either didn't achieve because I probably pushed them away by placing so much importance on them that I just pushed them away. Have you ever tried to catch a cat that maybe you want to pet, or maybe it's time to take your cat to the vet, and all of a sudden that cat just runs and hides? It's kind of like that. When like you are like, I've got to catch you, your desires run away from you. So, it's but funny enough, if you sit down and you just let the cat come to you, it'll jump in your lap and it'll let you pet it. Cat won't leave you alone, right? When you don't want its attention necessarily. It's kind of the same thing. So it's like, what are you giving excessive importance to, where you're saying this thing could either break me or make me? Think about it, because we do it in all areas of our life. It could be anything from, if I don't get this job, or if I lose my job, to if I don't make this much money, if I don't get that special person that I am pursuing. Like if they won't be with me, my life is over. Like, what are you giving excessive importance to, which creates excess potential? By the way, what's interesting is I've been reading Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zealand, and really enjoying this book. Highly recommend. I have to say, so much of what I'm learning to give names to now, learning what it's called, are things that I have learned through my own experience in the past over a decade, nearly 2 decades at this point, since I began my spiritual journey in my mid 20s. And I didn't know it was called excess potential at the time, or that it was even importance. I didn't even know I was attached, but this attachment was causing suffering. So in my last video, I talked about intention and how your energy is going where you place your attention, and how unless you're consciously paying attention to what you pay attention to, we can just siphon our energy into things. And in fact, a lot of people unconsciously focus on what they don't want rather than what they do want, thinking that's how they get what they want. This is a similar thing. What are you giving so much power to that you're not going to be okay if you don't get it? Is it a relationship? Is it your job? Is it your business? And then let's peel that back a layer even further. Maybe you're going, yeah, actually, if I lost my business right now, I don't know what I'd do. Why? And then you say, oh, I don't know. Like I might have to move out of my place. Okay. So you get a different place. And then you just keep going. You keep letting go until you get to the point where you go, actually, I mean, it might not be my preference, but I trust the universe so much, the universe that has my best interest, genuinely, in mind, that flows in divine, perfect order. I trust that universe so much that I'm just going to go, huh, whatever happens, I'm going to be okay either way. That's what it means to remove attachment, to become non-attached, to reduce importance. The energy of placing really tight importance on things is needy, and it's clingy, and it's repelling, if not detrimental to what you actually want to have. Think about it. You're on that plank, you're in between the two buildings, and oh my God, if I fall. Like once you start generating that much excess potential, the universe has a very shit or get off the pot way of wanting to bring things into balance. So you're either going to fall, right? Or you're not going to do it. You're going to get off and you're going to go, I'm not even going to walk that plank. So the same applies here. So we think about, like, what we attach ourselves to, the stories that we attach to the things that we think are going to make us happy. And we go, what if that's just a story? What if I don't even know? What if I don't actually know what I want? How many times have you thought you wanted something and then got it and it still didn't make you happy? Right? And if you've ever had an experience where you just let go and surrender and then things just worked out magically, it's kind of amazing how the universe just, like, the magic of flow is so built into nature. You don't have to beat your heart. You don't have to breathe your breath. Cells are multiplying and things are happening in your body at such a speed. Like, how many times do we even breathe a day? What is it? I wouldn't even want to try and guess, but 80,000 times. How many times do you blink a day? Like, you don't have to think about any of that. It's just happening. So what if your life happened in the same way, and you didn't need to control everything, and you didn't need to place stories that don't serve you and massive levels of excess potential and importance, which actually work against you, because nature's trying to come in and get back to balance. It always is. What if you just let all that go? That's what non-attachment is. This is also what is meant when, in the Buddhist philosophy, they talk about dying before you die, which is like being enlightened, right? To reach enlightenment is to die before you die. It's to let go of the material things that you think you need, and anything that you think you need to be happy that is external and is not inside of you. That's what it means to die before you die. I've been practicing this a lot lately. I've been practicing this in my relationships, in my business, in my living situation. I really love the place I'm living in right now. I manifested it, but even that was just a God wink. It was like, oh yeah, here's this thing. You want it? Boom, here it is. It's gorgeous. I live in the middle of all these trees, and I have a view of the ocean. Like, where do you get that in California? But there have been some things that have come up in the building which are gonna maybe have to have a lot of people leave. I won't go into further detail, but it's out of my control. And bitching about it and being sad about it, giving my attention to how, oh, I manifested this, it was meant to be, why is it being taken away? That's not gonna serve me. It's like, okay, how will the universe surprise and delight me next? There's a lot of things in the last couple years that have not gone according to plan. And the only thing that made me suffer as a result of that was my decision to attach myself to the thing instead of let it go, and to create a level of importance or a story around why I need that thing to be happy. In my last video, I talked about where your attention goes is where your energy is flowing. I'm not willing to leak my energy out anymore. Once I cut all the ties to the things that I thought I needed to be happy, snip, 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 I felt all these like, it's like tendrils of energy just come back into me. And my nervous system felt like it completely reset itself. And it was all in taking the attitude of, I'm good no matter what. And now I'm not relying on anything outside of myself for my own happiness. And let's not even call it happiness, because happiness is fleeting. It's an emotion. It's lovely, but it's not joy. Joy is a state. It's not peace. Peace is a state, right? I feel deep inner peace knowing that I am not giving my energy away or my power to anything else. This is the work of a true magician. This is what I'm discovering. This is what it means to have inner power. This is what it means to create your own reality and to create your own life. It is to command your consciousness and elevate your consciousness through your command, to command your attention to the things that are desired and to pursue those things with joy and passion and enthusiasm without attachment to the outcome, as our friend Bashar likes to say. But it's a really beautiful summary of how to win the game, or how to play the game, rather. There's really no winning. It's an infinite game, right? Not a finite game. But it's how can we be moving joyfully and enthusiastically towards what is desired? Because I will never say we shouldn't have desires. And to say that desire is the root of all suffering, I don't really buy that. I don't think that a desire is powerful in getting what you want. I don't think it is the root of all suffering. I think it is a seed. It is a seed that goes, okay, over here, right? But it is the attachment to that thing that causes the suffering. Another thing that Bashar, and I'll just paraphrase because I don't have a photographic memory, but another thing that Bashar said that I thought was really cool is he goes, we are showing you through your enthusiasm what your path is, what your purpose is, right? And so by following your enthusiasm, we take you towards your purpose. And sometimes the thing that you want that's over here, you think the line is this way, but that's not actually the way. The universe is really wise and it knows that. So the universe first takes you here, and then it'll take you here, and then it might take you here because it was the only way to get you here. But all the while, we're calling this obstacles, we're calling this issues, we're going, oh no, don't take that thing away from me, when something better is on the side of door number 2. We just don't know. It's the unknown. So we're clinging to the known because that's what the ego mind does. So I'm going to cut this video today. This is a new style of content creation for me, where I'm just turning on the camera and going completely flow-based and talking about what's on my heart. I don't have notes. I don't even really have like a high quality video set up or camera right now, which is not what I'm used to doing. But you know what? In the spirit of talking about this, the topic of this video, I also recognize as a content creator that has already built a business making videos that the more importance I placed on lighting and gear and it actually created so much excess potential that it put me into paralysis and procrastination. I couldn't create content at all because everything it became perfectionism, right? My favorite saying is perfectionism is just procrastination disguised as productivity. And that's exactly what happened. So I finally said, you know what? I'm just going to turn on the Zoom camera, even though I have like super nice gear and this little USB mic, and I'm just going to shoot some content. So thank you for your time today and for listening.